Today, we'll count down 10 badass timepieces that actually showed up on Chuck Norris's wrist. Ready to see what made the cut? Now let's start with a surprising cameo timepiece that snuck onto Chuck's wrist when we least expected. In the comedy Dodgeball, a true underdog story, Chuck Norris makes a funny cameo as himself, and even his watch joined in on the joke. He wore a Nike Triax 35, a stylish digital sports watch made for runners and athletes. This curved watch can track up to 35 laps, which fits perfectly in a movie about competition. In classic Chuck Norris style, the Triax 35 probably timed how long it took him to give Vince Vaughn that famous thumbs up. This Nike watch definitely passed the Chuck Norris test because it's sporty and cool looking. Now, if you thought a Nike sports watch in a comedy cameo was unexpected, just wait for what comes next. Right up at number 9 is the Timex Expedition. Not every watch Chuck Norris owns is just for the movies. Some are part of his real everyday life. One good example is the Timex Expedition. This is a watch made for outdoor adventures. Chuck has been seen wearing digital Expedition models with strong resin straps and a no-nonsense design. In fact, one observant fan even confirmed that Chuck's watch was a black-strapped Timex Expedition, proving that off-screen he still prefers gear that can handle anything. And it makes sense because Timex has always been known for its slogan, "Takes a licking and keeps on ticking." These watches are shock resistant, water resistant, and come with an Indiglo light for night visibility. More like the watches you wear to chop wood, climb a mountain, or enforce Texas justice on a Tuesday. And for Chuck, it's just another reliable sidekick. Meanwhile, the next entry proves that even in his classic action movies, Chuck's watches had to be just as battle ready as he was. Stepping into number 8 is a mystery watch in Chuck's 1986 action flick. In one unforgettable scene from the Delta Force, explosions fill the air, villains lose their cool, and Chuck Norris's character, Major Scott McCoy, saves the day on a weaponized motorcycle. But while all eyes were on the action, his watch quietly played its part. Fans have long debated what watch he wore during the rescue, and most agree it wasn't a luxury Swiss brand. It was likely a simple plastic case Timex. Why a plastic Timex, you could be wondering? Because anything fancier probably wouldn't survive the chaos Chuck brings. The watch had a rugged military look that matched his gear perfectly, keeping time through explosions and chase scenes. Like Chuck himself, it didn't need to show off, it just worked. Next, we'll see why you'll never catch Mr. Norris flaunting a certain famous luxury brand on his wrist. Rolex may be the king of luxury watches, but not on Chuck Norris's wrist. Our guy is never a fan of Rolex. While other celebrities flash gold and glitter, Chuck sticks to watches that can handle mud, blood and sweat. In the world of Chuck, if a watch can't survive a roundhouse kick, it's not worth wearing. That's why you won't spot a delicate Swiss dress piece in his collection. Instead, he's the kind of guy who'd choose a $50 combat-ready digital watch over a $50,000 luxury model. As the famous joke goes, Chuck Norris doesn't wear a watch, he decides what time it is. And honestly, that fits him perfectly. His roundhouse kick probably tells time better than most expensive watches anyway. Sure, a Rolex Submariner or a Daytona looks impressive, but could it survive a fight scene with Chuck? Probably not. To him, watches are tools, not trophies. They're meant to perform, not sparkle. And that's what makes him even cooler. Because when you're Chuck Norris, you're the luxury. The watch is just tagging along. Now, what do you call a watch that's as tough as Chuck Norris? It's the Casio G Shock. G-Shocks are known for being shockproof, waterproof, and built to survive almost anything. Among watch fans, they've even earned the nickname the Chuck Norris of watches. One collector once said, "It's my G-Shock range man, tough as nails, super accurate, and one of the best built watches out there." Sounds a lot like Chuck, doesn't it? With their strong armor-like cases and bold digital displays, G-Shocks are made for adventure. It doesn't matter if you're climbing mountains, diving underwater, or surviving a drop from a building. These watches can take it all. In fact, if Chuck Norris were a watch, it'd definitely be a G-Shock. And even though Chuck personally prefers Timex, the G-Shock still feels like his twin in spirit. Now let's talk about a unifying theme in Chuck's watch collection. On the flip side, if you're having a blast racing through Chuck Norris's watch collection, give that like and subscribe button a gentle roundhouse. You're done? Well, let's go back to where we were. Now, what's one thing all his timepieces have in common? Every watch linked to Chuck has to pass the ultimate Chuck test, meaning it must handle punishment that would break most gadgets. For instance, the Timex Ironman original sports watch from 1986. It had 200-meter water resistance, a nearly unbreakable resin case, and a reputation for taking serious hits. Then there's the Glock tactical watch, which Chuck once endorsed. Made with titanium, sapphire glass, and tested to extremes, it's designed to survive the toughest conditions without quitting. For Chuck, toughness always beats style. In fact, one article noted that in all his movies, he never wears a fancy dress watch. He only wears gears that are so rugged it could probably stop a bullet. Let's just say if you're shopping for a watch Chuck Norris might wear, skip the gold and go for the Kevlar and steel. Now coming up, we spotlight the watch of the Texas Ranger, who didn't need bling to get the bad guys. While Hollywood wore gold, Chuck Norris wore grit. For 8 seasons of Walker, Texas Ranger, Chuck delivered justice with his famous roundhouse kicks as Cordell Walker. He was a man who believed action spoke louder than words. And just like him, Walker's watch never tried to stand out. Most viewers probably never noticed it because it quietly did its job, tucked neatly under his sleeve. It was just a simple, reliable watch that could handle a bar fight or a tumble in the dirt. You wouldn't see Walker wearing a flashy Rolex while chasing down bad guys. His watch had to match his rugged style and unshakable toughness. The exact model was never confirmed, but it's likely a sturdy field watch, maybe a Timex or Casio or another durable brand built to last. The kind a real Texas lawman could trust when defusing a bomb or timing his next move. What we do know is that Chuck's real-life love for strong, dependable watches carried right into his TV role. Next, we're looking at a watch Chuck not only wore, but proudly endorsed. When a watch carries the name of a famous handgun, you know it means business. Meet the Glock Precision 35th Anniversary Watch, a limited edition timepiece. In 2021, Chuck teamed up with Glock to promote this watch, giving it his legendary stamp of approval. And honestly, it deserves it. The Glock 35th is built like the famous pistol with a full titanium case, sapphire crystal, and 10 ATM water resistance. In simple terms, it's almost indestructible. The design even borrows details from Glock's guns, with slide-like grooves and a bold black and orange color scheme. This isn't a fancy dress watch you'd wear to a gala. It's more of a tactical companion made for the field. The fact that Chuck wore it, even for a promo, says it all. Just think about it for a moment. The man who can make time tap out actually chose this watch to celebrate Glock's anniversary. If that's not a marketing win, what is? The Glock watch proved itself Norris worthy by being unapologetically hardcore. Sure, it tells time and likely could survive an explosion while doing it. Now, endorsements aside, let's not forget Chuck's classic favourite. This is the Chuck Norris watch fans know and love. The Timex Ironman Triathlon is a legend in its own right, with the original hardcore sports watch first released in 1986. It was launched just as the action hero star was soaring. Was it a coincidence? Probably not. This digital watch was designed for triathletes. It's water resistant to 200 meters, shock resistant, and has Timex signature Indiglo backlight for midnight missions. It's no surprise that in The Expendables 2, Chuck's character Booker wears a Timex Ironman on his wrist. Surrounded by action icons like Stallone, Schwarzenegger and Willis, Chuck's choice of watch is the real deal. One watch writer even said the Ironman perfectly represents Chuck's tough guy legacy from the 1980s. The truth is that this watch fits Chuck far better than any luxury piece. Even though US President Bill Clinton famously wore a Timex Ironman, his version looks gentle compared to Chuck's rugged style. Norris has even been spotted wearing it off screen, once during a Hawaii vacation. Now, you've seen 9 watches, but the final entry isn't a watch at all. Brace yourself for the fact that renders every watch unnecessary when you're the man, the myth, the legend. Here's the grand finale and the greatest Chuck Norris watch. Actually, in this case, there's no watch at all. Do you know why? Because Chuck Norris doesn't check the time, rather time checks with him. The internet's most famous Chuck quote says it perfectly. Chuck Norris doesn't wear a watch, he decides what time it is. It's a funny exaggeration, but it captures what people love about his legend. If you ever dared to ask him the time, he'd probably reply, 2 seconds till, and before you could ask, 2 seconds till what, you'd already be flying from one of his roundhouse kicks. For decades, Chuck has built a reputation as the man who always wins, so really, who needs a Rolex or a Timex when you're the master of time itself? Now, which of these Chuck Norris watches is your favourite? Let's get talking in the comments down below, and meanwhile you can keep the adrenaline running and check out our next video on Lewis Hamilton's collection. Go ahead and click through because time's ticking. Enjoy, and we'll see you in the next video.